That Maui Wowie. That Maui
Welcome
Wowie.
back to the Cool Comic Show. I am one of your hosts, Damien, and with me, as always, is Jelani Carter, aka Jelani Hendricks, aka Jelani with the body, and also with me, as always, is Q Man Bean, aka Q Man, aka Q, my boo. Unfortunately, not with us today is generic Mr. E, aka Mr. E, aka E. He is who knows where, somewhere in the Amazon jungle.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Who knows? But we are back with our main Cool Comic Show where we kind of give a wrap up of all the recent news related to comic books, including movies and TV shows, the books themselves, and video games. In a couple of weeks, I do want to mention we are going to do a kind of a special video where we're going to have a kind of recap and review of the first year of the Absolute and Ultimate books from DC and Marvel. The Absolute line kind of just wrapped up its first year, then Ultimate's kind of getting or a little bit after the first year. So we'll kind of get a separate video for that, talk about some of our favorite books within that line and kind of go through each of those. But today, like I said, kind of a wrap up of everything. We didn't have an episode last month just because of traveling and things like that. So there's a little bit of more information to catch up for this month. So we'll start off as we always do with movies and TV show. Kind of the biggest news. So in our last recording, the last time we recorded, we were talking about like, oh, you know, what's the next news going to be for DC Studios after Superman did well and everything like that. And then, of course, like 3 days or 4 days after we recorded, James Gunn announced Man of Tomorrow, a.k.a. Superman 2, which is officially coming out in July of 2027.
Oh, hell yeah.
He released it. I thought it was pretty cool what they did. He released himself. It was him, David Corenswet, who played Superman, and I'm pretty sure it was Nicholas Hoult. They each released like a different drawing of Superman and Lex that were drawn by different comic artists. And it was just a picture of Superman and Lex in his power suit. And that's kind of the most information we got from that. We also got a tease of the script later on. A couple weeks later, James Gunn kind of tweeted out a picture, and it was, you know, it was a picture of the script, but it had like the anatomy of a brain, like an X-ray of a brain, almost a little bit.
Yeah.
And people were like, okay, Brainiac, obviously, because the brain was a little bit bigger. And then there was like storyboard thing he also teased. So, of course, I'm pretty sure we're all looking forward to it. Maybe that'll be the next CCS meetup in the mountains, July 2027. But
I'm down.
I don't know if you guys had any initial thoughts to the Man of Tomorrow. I'm very excited that it's coming out. Like a Superman sequel is coming out 2 years after the first movie. That's a good sign, you know. So
Yeah. No, I'm very excited. I mean, you guys saw our review. We adored that movie. It was so much fun, really, really good. So I am confident that the sequel is going to be another banger. And by that time, too, Supergirl would be out, right? Already?
yeah, Supergirl.
Right,
Yeah, she comes out next summer. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
2026 she comes out, and then Superman will be the summer after.
And I think that'll be fun because like by that time we'll be like 2 years into like James Gunn's version of the DC extended universe, which I think will be really exciting. So it'll be like a cool little reflection to revisit the character that kind of kicked off everything, essentially, and then see where we're at with the DCEU and how everything is holding up still. Because you know several TV shows and movies and comic books and everything else will be out by then. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm super excited that I don't remember if he said this in a tweet or what, but just positioning Lex and Superman to work together.
Yeah.
That always makes for a fun, interesting story. So I'm eager to see that play out if it ends up being a Brainiac plot or not.
Yeah, I think people are like, or I don't know if I don't know if he specifically said. I think people are kind of assuming like Lex and Superman got to team up because of the way like the artist renderings were. That kind of looked like a team up vibe. And if it is Brainiac, then they kind of have to do that. Lex did show up. This is kind of a side piece of recent news. Spoilers, by the way, for Peacemaker. If you want to close your ears now. This episode is what, a month, or this episode I'm about to talk about from Peacemaker is like a month and a half old. But I think it was like episode 3 or 4. In Peacemaker, Rick Flag is in the show. You know, he was in the Superman movie. He goes to visit a certain bald prisoner in prison, and they have a quick conversation and everything like that. Nothing like dramatic happens that you don't need to know exactly, but they have a conversation. So you can already tell some of the connections are already happening. But as for like the latest we've seen, Lexi is still in prison. So we assume there's something's going to happen with Brainiac. and Superman and Lex are gonna have to work together and do all that. So, but I'm just happy that we're getting sequels to movies 2 years after the first one came out. You know, the Batman Part 2, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but that's coming out like 6 years after the first one.
Hey, honestly, take your time because I love Robert Pattinson's Batman. So I'm like, if you know it's gonna be a certified banger, do what you gotta do. Don't play the game where like, oh, let's just drop all the time, just to like keep up with the Joneses, especially in this like current climate of pop culture and media. You know what I mean? Where everybody just wants to be the first to do whatever, whether it's good or not. Like, take your time. If it's art, let it be art. You know?
Yeah, of course. And I think part of it too is, I think DC is still figuring out how they're gonna handle Batman between the DCU and Matt Reeves. Pattinson.
Yeah,
I think they're still figuring that out.
I feel like it's definitely different tones so far. I guess we're just gonna have to see because at this point it's just Superman out right now as far as like the movie version of the DCE right now, right?
Yeah,
okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like I think they're
yeah,
because people were for a while were saying like, oh, just make just merge Pattinson into the DCU or keep it separate, get a new Batman. And I think DC's trying to figure out like what should we do. I don't know like the general audience is not. Yeah, I don't think the general audience is dumb to be like, oh, well, there's two different Batmans. What's like? I think people will like understand. It's fine to have two different ones. So
yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, that's kind of the biggest like DC news. Again, Peacemaker just wrapped up. Overall, there wasn't anything like earth shattering in terms of like, oh, you need to see this to understand this. Like, I think it's good that you can just go in and watch Peacemaker. You don't really have to. And you can eventually watch the rest of the DCU stuff and not have to feel like, oh, I need to watch Peacemaker. People did like the show. I didn't watch it. Peacemaker for me, and maybe I'll go back and watch it. This isn't necessarily something I'm interested in, but I'm sure at some point I'll kind of check it out and go through that.
Yeah, same.
Next piece of news on the Marvel side. So we got some casting news. So the next Marvel movie that's coming out, we had Fantastic Four a couple months ago. The next one's coming out is Spider-Man Brand New Day, and then after that we're going into Avengers Doomsday. So I think Spider-Man Brand New Day might have a couple of big things happen. But we got casting news. We have Marvin Jones III. He was cast as Tombstone and Spider-Man. You would recognize him. He was Tobias Well in Black Lightning, the TV show. But he also voiced Tombstone in the Into the Spider-Verse animated movie.
That's right.
When
he was
cast, everyone was excited because he is like I don't know what the actual like definition is, but he is very kind of like white, light skin, kind of genetic.
I think he has like albinism. I want to say. I think that's the proper term. Yeah.
And then Tombstone as a character is very much that essentially. So people are
amazing
very excited.
Actor too. That's a
he's
great
a great
casting.
actor.
Great casting.
And when he got casted, everyone who watched Black Lightning were coming out talking about like, oh, if you guys have never seen him before, he comes up with just the phrases for people that are
the best insults for
So, but there's a couple of things that are happening with this movie where people are assuming that Miles is gonna kind of make his debut in certain aspects. Like there was a Hispanic actress that was cast, and there was like set photos of her like with Spider-Man and stuff like that. So, and they've been teasing Miles for a while anyway. Like we had Aaron Davis and everything like that. So
whoever they cast, protect that young brother with all the energy. Yeah, because that's a big role to fill.
Yeah. And I am curious, like when they do, because I think they are going to introduce Miles eventually at some point. Like it's for sure happening. I'm curious if they're going to do like, because at this point, Peter, at least in the MCU, he's like college, graduated college.
Yeah.
Like is Miles going to be like high school Miles? Is it going to be like a couple years younger than Peter? Because there isn't really like a solid like Miles has to be this age difference from Peter. It can kind of be whatever. Yeah. So I'm curious if they'll do like a younger kid or someone like in their early 20s, or essentially something like that. So. Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Definitely, show some respect to whoever the Miles actor is cast.
It's so funny. Speaking of that too, like I know Tom Holland did an interview recently, I forgot, on one of the late night shows, and he was talking about how he's been playing Peter for 10 years. And I was like, damn, 10 years is crazy. You know what I mean?
Is Tom Holland, is he 30 yet? Is he almost 30? Am I tripping?
He's gotta be,
or like close to it, like late 20s. Like I would say
he's 29. He'll be 30 next year.
Okay,
really? Yeah. Oh wow, he was 19 when he was casted.
Yeah, I think he was like 17 when he first got casted, and then like 19 when the first movie came out. It was crazy. Yeah,
I still remember how I felt when I like watching that trailer and seeing him pop out. I lost my mind. Like I still get chills thinking about it. So yeah, shout out to him.
I think the cool thing is I think he has said before too, like he'll play Spider-Man as long as, they'll have him. And I think people like his Spider-Man obviously, and I think people want them to continue to explore the older Peter Parker, like Peter in his 20s and 30s, because the movies and the comics kind of just keep Peter in this endless cycle of being a young boy in high school, and he has good stories where he is older and married and has kids. Like talking about Ultimates, the Ultimate Spider-Man line was him older and with the kid, and people loved it. And then they're like, we're done. like, so
And then
people
also
are
even
hoping
with
that,
with the Miles Morales animated movies, like people loved like the
Yeah.
older Peter that was like a mentor to Miles and everything like that, and him having a kid and everything. So it can work, and people enjoyed those older versions of Peter. So I don't think the MCU should be afraid to like let Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker age and be mature and probably eventually have a kid or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Like let him be a mentor.
Yeah.
Get him out of college if you want. You know what I mean? Tom Holland still looks young, so if they want to do the him in college thing, it's fine. But yeah, I wouldn't mind an older Peter in the MCU. I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good for business, good for the brand for sure. Having like a Peter Parker that's dynamic, you
Perfect
at
word.
each year that passes with Tom Holland, it injects that much more nostalgia. You're able to, 10 years from now, seeing an older version of him that has like that, torch passing card with Miles Morales, but also like you just have that nostalgia of seeing this one actor progress in the same role and do it like swimmingly.
Yeah, kind of like a
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman with Wolverine. You know what I mean? Like seeing him age and seeing how he does, especially when like Logan
Right.
came out. I feel like that's like the perfect culmination of all that. Like you see, Hugh Jackman as a young, like not a young man. He was like probably like late 20s, early 30s playing Wolverine. But like to see him progress and evolve the character, especially in the way that it has like has been like extremely rewarding as like a fan of the movies and the character in general and his version of that character. So you can definitely get that out of Tom Holland for sure.
Yeah. You need franchise players at this point.
Exactly.
Like if you're the MCU, you need your flagships. You need your Steph Curry. You
Yeah.
need your Klay Thompson.
Exactly.
Right now, it's looking tricky.
Yeah.
Looking like
yeah.
looking like the Pelicans right now.
shout out to all you basketball fans out there. But no, I agree with you guys 100%. Like I think Spider-Man obviously is pretty much like Marvel's Batman in the sense that no matter what Spider-Man does, it's always going to sell well. It's always going to make money. And I think to Q's point where like for the brand and for the franchise moving forward, I think this next movie I think it's a good time to introduce Miles. Not necessarily like, hey, he's going to be Spider-Man right now, but at least introduce him into this world. Because like, yeah, they can do this. I think they want to do a new like quote unquote a college trilogy with Tom Holland at this point. And they can do that. And then throughout these 3 movies, kind of prepare Miles to essentially take over from that point. And then Tom Holland will, retire and always he can come out in the future.
Yeah.
But the reason I think that's a good time is because Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to come out in a couple years. And that's going to be kind of like the end of Miles's kind of, flagship franchise that he's currently in. So to kind of transition the MCU to be like, all right, now we have our live action Miles. I think it's a good time to it. Again, at least introduce him.
Keep on riding
He
that
could just
wave.
yeah, like maybe Peter, he's just a tutor at a high school or something like that, and then Miles is one of the kids or whatever. And again, you don't have to have Miles get bit by the spider in this movie. You can just introduce him now. Similar to how they did in the Spider-Man game for PS4.
Yeah.
It's like he was there. He didn't get bit till the end, but it was like he was there so you could have his game later on and then Spider-Man 2 and kind of go through all that. So, but I'm excited. Like Spider-Man movies are always fun. And again, it's Spider-Man. He's always going to be cool. And yeah, like you said, he's going to be kind of the flagship going forward, especially as we go into Doomsday and Secret Wars. And I think Tom Holland will kind of be one of the few, because like it's clear that Marvel wants to reset a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think Tom Holland's going to be one of the few of like, okay, he'll stay and keep making movies with him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that'll be that is a good cast. It's a great cast scene, and I'm excited to see kind of what other characters pop up in that movie. So going back to DC, we did get some slight details about the Mr. Miracle animated show that's coming out from DC Studios. It was confirmed, and we kind of knew this already just based on the art, but it was confirmed that it is adapting Tom King's Mr. Miracle miniseries, with 12-issue miniseries. That one was very beloved. There was a
Loved
couple
that
of
comic
notes.
so much. So good.
Yeah, there was
so good.
couple notes about like just what characters, essentially the new gods, kind of how you see them. But that was just kind of a note in here. Side note, by the way, I'll talk about it more when I get into books. If you're not currently reading the ongoing New Gods comic, that is very good. It is insanely good.
That's on my list.
But yeah, that's a Miss Miracle animated show. They haven't really said timeline, anything like that. We kind of just know it's adapting in the run. We know Tom King is kind of involved as a showrunner, which will be a point that we'll talk about it later, but he is kind of more hands-on with that one. We also had some news come out of New York Comic Con a couple weeks ago. So we kind of have DC for a while, of course, had their animated movies. Once the New 52 came out, they had their like interconnected universe. They were kind of making movies. And then they had their quote unquote Tomorrowverse, where they made like Long Halloween and kind of one-offs here and there. And with James Gunn taking over, the question was like, okay, what's DC gonna do for animated now? So the first thing, at least to my knowledge, that's kind of under this James Gunn umbrella, is going to be a Batman Nightfall animated movie adaptation. It's going to be in multi-parts. If you've heard the phrase Nightfall before, or if you're just unfamiliar with it and you kind of want some more info, this is essentially the run from the 90s where Bane was introduced, like he debuted as a character.
Okay.
And this is where Bane broke Batman's back. Like, this is where that iconic kind of stuff came from. So they announced it's going to be multi-parts. I don't know if they said specifically, but another important point to this, and there was a lot of Tim Drake fans who were very cautious when it first got announced, because DC likes to just move Robins around and not understanding like, hey, certain Robins are pretty important for some of these stories. So Tim Drake fans wanted to make sure that it was going to be him as Robin, and it was confirmed. It will be Tim Drake because he was the Robin at the time. Jason was dead already at this point. He hadn't come back yet. Yet, and then Dick was already Nightwing, kind of just running around with the Titans. So that'll be coming out next year. And then again, I don't know how many parts and everything, but I think it'll be cool because it was definitely an era, like it was the 90s, so it was very, very edgy, very trying to new stuff. This is also where Azrael came out. If you guys ever heard of Azrael before, he kind of had this crazy Batman suit armor kind of stuff. So it was like a lot happening during that run. So there's a lot they can do coming into that, but it was just like an announcement. There wasn't no casting, nothing like that.
Okay.
Also in DC, we had just a quick, I think Matt Reeves was doing a random interview, something like that. One thing he did say for Batman Part 2 is he said, quote, "The villain in Batman Part 2 will be something that hasn't really been done before." So I put a note here. I was like, "Oh, Condiment King confirmed." But
I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay. Hold on, because when it comes to that, I feel like in the right hands, Condiment King could be.
He could.
Because if you really think about it, say make him like a food scientist and like have some real spicy diabolical, like put stuff together in order for, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it could work. You know what I mean?
That's
Mustard
the
gas,
great thing about,
you know what I'm saying? Like
mustard gas.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like if you finesse it in the right way, he could be a interesting enough threat. You know what I mean? And like really like,
No,
I think
sure.
it'd be
Give
like,
that man a budget.
I'm just saying, I feel like it could be tough. I feel like I know he's inherently a goofy character, of course. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you really dial into the fact that he can combine different shit in order to make other stuff happen, you know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing about comic book villains, but especially Batman villains, is no matter how goofy they are, there could be a good ass idea in there. Like, you could put some cool shit together and be like, yo, this is wild, you know
what I
like
mean? Find out Bruce's allergies. You know
that's
what I mean?
I'm saying. Like, even the prominent villains that we know, like, think about it, like Joker, right? Joker's a clown. Like, he's just a clown, dude, but he's a murder. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. The Riddler is a guy who just does puzzles, but like, it's cool
At the
because
same time,
of
he's
the
like
way,
a real threat. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
it's like, yeah, we joke about it. But yeah, Condiment King could be good, but I like, obviously him saying that, a lot of people are like, okay, well, who could it be? Like, who are some villains that haven't really been done? Obviously, Joker's been done to death. I don't think they'll do Joker. Like, he was in the first one, but he wasn't really there. Joker's been done a lot. Penguin, obviously. Riddler, he just did. Mr. Freeze, like, people...
It's been a minute.
Yeah, even before that he said this, people were hoping they would do Mr. Freeze because the only thing we have is Arnold in the 90s, you know, and Ice to meet you. And I think technically and him saying hasn't really been done before. Mr. Freeze was only done once, and I think
Yeah.
like if they did it in this, it'd be pretty sick. But there's a bunch like of characters like Poison Ivy. She was only done once before. Shout out to Uma Thurman.
Right.
And I don't think Matt Reeves in his Batman movies will use quote unquote like lesser known Batman villains. I think he's gonna stick to kind of like the A-listers essentially.
Yeah.
I think James Gunn's Batman is where we're gonna get the kind of more crazier, wackier Condiment King.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
that's James Gunn's back. Because he can make
That's what I'm saying.
the wackiest characters or the most like less known characters like feel important and feel like a threat or whatever the case may be. And you're like, damn, I actually kind of care about this character. Or I'm like interested to see how he or this person messes up our main hero. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel that.
He could also do. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, who do you think between Reeves and Gunn is gonna bring us Quarter Owls?
So that was another thing people were hoping as well. Is like, okay, well, Court of Owls has never been done, obviously, because it's a newer kind of villain or like villain group. People were like, Matt Reeves' Batman kind of fits with Court of Owls in a sense.
I was just about to say, like, the essence of that version of that character just makes more sense.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think Matt Reeves is going to use lesser known characters. It's going to be a Court of Owls. It's going to be a Mr. Freeze. It'll be like something that we know or it's more popular. But yeah, it hasn't really been done before. The biggest thing that I want for Batman Part 2 is I want to see some acrobatic parents fall to their death. That's all I want. You know what I mean? I want Bruce to go to a show. He takes a date and he's like, what the fuck? And there's a young boy who sees his parents fall to their death. Listen, I'm just, that's just me. Okay.
Just put it out in the world.
But no, I do think like the highest chance likely is going to be Court of Owls and then maybe a Mr. Freeze right after that.
Okay.
I think they could also throw in something like a Professor Pig. Like I think him, like he's not really like a quote unquote fantastical villain with crazy powers. Like he's just a butcher essentially. Doll maker they can kind of throw in there. Like some kind of these more like quote unquote psychotic villains he can throw in there. But yeah, I think Court of Owls will kind of be our more than likely.
Yeah,
if
that'll be a
not
lot
this
of fun.
movie, like definitely the his trilogy, his last movie that he does will be Court of Owls for sure.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool.
That'd
If they
be a
do Court of
banger.
Owls,
That'd be a banger.
I definitely need them to recreate the maze scene, which is very disorienting. Flip the screen upside down like they do in the book, make it backwards, inverted, do whatever you need to do, but give me that maze scene and it'll be good.
Nice.
So the last point for related to movies and TVs, kind of big news. It actually just came out in the last week or so, but also not surprising because it's Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers has announced that it is listening to offers for sale. If you guys remember, this is a conversation that Ian and I've talked about when we first started the channel. Warner Brothers,
100 years ago.
someone needs to save them because they went through their merger with Discovery. Right before that, they were under AT&T. That was an entire mess. Obviously, Warner Brothers was at its best when it was just under Time Warner. It's a whole corporate conversation. But Warner Brothers is listening to offers for sale. Clearly, the Discovery Warner Brothers merger was not a good move. I think a lot of people saw that coming from the beginning.
Yeah.
But the reason we are talking about it, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Warner Brothers does own DC Comics as a brand. And whoever they get sold to can have a lot of rippling effects, of course, with the books themselves, but the movies and TV shows that we all watch. Clearly, of course, James Gunn is heading DC Studios, but that is technically under the Warner Brothers brand. So some interested companies that they have listed, Paramount, I think, has made a couple of offers to buy Warner Brothers, and they kind of declined a couple times. There was talks about Netflix is in there, and also Apple. And again, this is a whole conversation about billionaires making more money, so I don't really feel bad for anybody. But in terms of the creatives and people who work in these fields, not only the books, but the people who work on movies and TV shows who actually are making it, this is big news because it's like, if you get a company like Discovery coming in and you have a CEO like they have, and he cancels background movies for tax credits and stuff like that, it's like this can have some kind of rippling effects.
Yeah.
So nothing has been, confirmed, but Warner Brothers is going to be sold again, which is like, damn, man, how many? Someone free DC Comics for real.
Which is so crazy because it's like is it a brand that's really not making money, or they just don't know how to handle it? So they're like, we're just gonna,
The
you know,
the
'Cause
thing
it's,
with
it's
comic
Warner
books,
Brothers, and
yeah, the
it's
thing
yeah, I don't know. I feel like the
the
amount
thing with
of
Warner
IP they
Brothers
own.
is the issue with it is how much like debt Warner Brothers kind of carries, because
Yeah.
it's like Warner Brothers has like, of course, DC Comics. It has like, I think the big brands they kind of market is like Warner Brothers. They have like the HBO, or not Warner, but they have DC Comics. They have the HBO brand. They have like Harry Potter, of course, because it makes them money. So like stuff like that, they'll kind of market it. But yeah, I think, again, I'm not a CEO or person in business. So I don't really know. But I would think it's like people see, like these people in these corporations, they see like how many times Warner Brothers has been sold off, and it's
Yeah.
like I think people who don't know how to run business are being put in charge. Essentially, is what it is.
Yeah,
So yeah, this can have like a long. We might say long term effect, but we thought Discovery was going to be that, but it was only 3 years, and they sold again. But
Right. Yeah.
But this stuff does have an effect on what we consume as comic book fans. You know, they make decisions for movies and TV shows and all the way down to the comic books of like, hey, are we making money? Because like the comic book industry themselves, obviously it's not a big money maker for them. It's more so the IP of like a Batman comic. I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, but a Batman comic will make a lot of money, but it's not going to make as much as a Batman movie, obviously. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what they're buying. And again, this is just billionaires making more money. But if me as a regular consumer of just wanting some stability for DC Comics, if I was like, okay, if I could pick, I'd probably say Apple, mainly because like I feel like Apple just has never ending money and they're never going to run out of money. So they don't have to worry about
Right.
like, what can we do?
but then at the same time, Apple, when it comes to, especially lately, their television and movie production, like they're kind of going
I heard,
crazy right now.
like Severance, obviously.
Yeah.
That show with what's his name, Seth Rogen, I heard is very good. So
The studio, yeah, and I
Yeah.
think like it's interesting because I remember, because I was like working on a tech and media show at the time. I remembered like during that whole early pandemic era when everybody wanted a streaming service and blah 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 blah. And when Apple announced Apple TV, like their streaming service, like version of it, a lot of people were skeptical, and they only had like a few bangers, but it was just like like why is Apple making TV shows? But then a couple years later, fast forward, they positioned themselves ironically as like the new HBO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they've
honestly,
been
that's
very,
a great way to put it.
yeah, but like that's exactly like the feeling. If you watch a lot of the TVs or the movies that come from Apple TV and their service, you get that feeling of that prime HBO era where like, yo, it doesn't matter how long these shows or movies last, you're gonna get a banger. You know what I mean? Like if you think about HBO's prime TV shows, they don't really last too long except for a few. You know what I mean? But you can argue whether they're like some of the best television you're watching ever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like happening right now with Apple. So I think that would be really interesting. I would probably prefer Apple, and I would be really interested to see how they would handle a company like that has so many subsidiaries and such a crazy IP library that they can like dip into.
Yeah.
They done it a little bit with the Snoopy franchise and also Sesame Street. I want to say I think Apple owns or has like had the rights to for a good amount of time. I think also Sesame Street was owned by HBO for a little bit too. I want to say, or owned by
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
right.
Like
So
under the Warner brand.
exactly. So I mean, they kind of
Yeah.
already are dipping into HBO or Warner Brothers bag already. There's already like kind of like a bond there. So, Netflix
I-
Netflix is Netflix, and that's fine. But
Yeah, Netflix is just bleeding money, and I feel like if
Yeah.
Warner Brothers gets under Netflix, that's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna cause more problems. I feel
no,
like-
I also think so too. Like say what you want about Netflix, but I think they've been very hit or miss with a lot of stuff with how they handle franchises and stuff like that. Like, of course, they got their bangers, but at the same time, like I would kind of rather see what Apple does. And
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
given the ball, if they're the ones that ultimately like make that call and like get Warner Brothers, like I feel like they'll be in essentially good hands.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's never-ending money essentially.
Yeah.
like it's,
Yeah.
Another part of it too is whoever ends up buying Warner Brothers, like they could technically come in, and this will be a dumb decision, but we've seen CEOs make worst decisions. They could come in and be like, you know what, James Gunn, fuck what you're doing. Like, we're gonna do our own thing, and just stop all of that. You know what I mean? And it's
feel like they're smart enough not to do that.
you would hope so,
Right.
but again, we're talking about like disconnected older CEO types who kind of like think they know best more than everybody, and we've seen the kind of decisions they make sometimes. And it's like, so yeah, it's obviously like nothing I'm concerned about, because again, these are people making money. Like, it's not you know, but it does quote unquote affect us, because these are like IPs and things that we enjoy, and it's like if they're going to be changed completely. There's also people that obviously are very much because we've talked about it before. We enjoy all brands here. We like Marvel and DC, the indie stuff. But there's definitely people who are very much like Marvel only. I'm MCU
Very
only.
tribalistic. Yeah.
Yeah, and people who are
Right.
like, oh, just have Disney buy Warner Brothers, and it's like that's what we do not need.
Yuck. They
We
do
don't
not
need
need
that.
more brands under.
They don't need
oh
more
my
brands,
God.
more
Oh my God.
conglomerate, more like all that.
Yeah.
We're good on that. So yeah, we'll probably find out maybe in the next 6 months to a year. We'll probably kind of see who's going to end up buying them, but yeah, we'll see how that kind of affects everything. But that's about it for movies and TV. Moving over to books. So as we were kind of just mentioning, you know, certain characters will always sell for certain companies. And I would say the number one character for a company who is always going to sell for them is for DC Comics. They have Batman. Batman's always going to sell. So in the books, Batman had a new kind of relaunch series whenever they have a new writer come in, specifically for Batman books, because it's a big event. Like, Batman's a best-selling character. They'll kind of have a new kind of relaunch, a new arc, essentially at that. So a new Batman #1 came out last month. This is a run being started by Matt Fraction.
Love
We've
Matt
talked about his
Fraction.
name we talked about him a couple of times before. He, I would say, most notably known for the Hawkeye run that was essentially kind of adapted for the MCU show, but it also was just a great comic in general to
So
read if you
good.
haven't
Right.
read it.
So good.
But he's taken over Batman now. He was actually out of comics for a while. I think he was doing like some TV stuff and stuff like that, and some other kind of just other writing. But he's back in comics now, so he is taking over Batman. The artist is also Jorge Jimenez, which has been in Batman before. He was the one who kind of did the design for, if you've seen the character Punchline, he was the one that designed for her, and he's also just has great comic book art. But Batman debuted, and it sold 500,000 copies of his first one, which, if
Okay.
you're kind of just unfamiliar with comic book numbers, that is like insane for one issue. Like, not like for a year, that's for one issue. So let's safe to say it's pretty good. I don't know if I actually don't know if issue 2 came out yet. I would actually, Batman I think releases like every 2 weeks. so I shouldn't tell.
The second issue came out.
Yeah.
Nice.
So people are excited for this run. I'm excited to see kind of what, if he does make any kind of big status quo changes, because normally when a new writer takes over in a big way like this, they'll kind of make their stamp in a specific way. So yeah, I'm just curious to see if he makes any crazy changes, but that one has sold 500,000 copies in a
Love
couple
it.
weeks. So
Love it.
on the other side of that, in some sad news, so Green Arrow was kind of an ongoing run. It was, DC had their initiative a couple years ago called DC All In. And the reason I want to put this in here next to the Matt Fraction thing, talking about just comic book industry as a whole, it was a very beloved run. Like, people loved Green Arrow. People liked what they were doing. They were kind of bringing back some of the characters that they, people knew. It was canceled, and then one of the the writers, Scott Snyder, the guy who's doing Absolute Batman, he kind of came out and talked about why it was canceled. And he was like, hey, people loved the book. People who read it loved it. But the issue was it wasn't selling enough for it to kind of keep it going. And this kind of just goes into, quick shout out to E. He wanted to include this in here. Kind of a conversation about the comic book industry as a whole. Obviously, comic books, everything is expensive right now. Comic books are expensive.
Yeah.
But it was canceled due to low sales. And just a conversation about if there's a book that you like, there's a book that you enjoy or character you enjoy, like to try to support the book. Normally what I do is, like, if it's a new run or something like that, I'll buy like the physical version of like the first issue, or if there's covers I want to get, and then I'll kind of keep buying it digitally. Or I'll buy like the trade, like, well, they'll release like after the first 6 months of the issues, they'll release it kind of into one book. You buy that version of it, essentially, like that, kind of just supporting the books. But yeah, just a quick note we want to put in here. It's like, yeah, everyone loves Batman, and people talk about like, oh, why does DC only do Batman stuff and stuff like that? It's because that's what people go and buy. So if you want to see other characters supported, so you got to go support them. That's why here when we like, there's a new Zatanna series or a
Static.
new Absolute Wonder Woman or Static is coming out. We're like, hey, go and support this book because we like it and we want to see these books continue. And so it's just a note in here we put. But yeah, Green Arrow sadly was canceled. And if it's a sad time for Green Arrow fans because if you read the Absolute books and if you read Absolute, if you read Absolute Justice, Green Arrow, it was a quick debut for him, which is hilarious because there is a Absolute Green Arrow series coming out, and people are like, "So what's the
Okay, good
what's
to
the
know.
plan
Good to
here?"
know. Okay.
But yeah, so Green Arrow fans are kind of going through it right now.
Justice
right
for my
now.
man Oliver, man.
Yeah, he's going through it.
It's a tough
But
read.
but speaking of Absolute, we did get some more news out of New York Comic Con. Absolute Catwoman, she a series 6-issue
Dope.
series was announced for her. She made her debut she's making her debut in the Absolute Batman books right now. Super cool design, super cool dynamic that her and Bruce have going on. The author is Che Grayson, which I'm unfamiliar with. I don't know if you guys have read Trey Grayson books before, but they're going to be on that book. Filmmaker, director, and writer. So
Oh wow.
she'll be on it. And
Cool.
I think they just said 2026 for that. But, more Absolute books is going to be great. And keep it on DC. DC kind of announced also New York Comic Con their next, initiative, movement kind of thing. It's called DC Next Level.
Okay.
And we got a couple of series that were teased or kind of just logos that were shown, which were pretty interesting. So ones that I noted here, we have a new Batwoman series. So out of all these series, this was the only one, at least that I can find, where we actually knew who was on it.
Okay.
So the writer for Batwoman is going to be Greg Rucka, which is, I mentioned before, he has probably arguably the best Wonder Woman run, kind of in history. He's also currently on the Cheshire and Cheetah Rob the Justice League book right now. But he's going to be writing Yeah, he's going to be on Batwoman. We also got Zatanna, which, again, as you guys know, Zatanna's got a couple of mini series the last couple of years. We're like, where's that ongoing?
Yeah.
But she had her logo up there. Lobo, Deathstroke, and again, there wasn't too much info. It was just like, hey, here are some series. Essentially, this kind of graphic, and I'll put it on screen. This graphic that they showed, there was no like Batman, Wonder Woman, or Superman, which obviously we know they're going to have their series. But this was like, hey, here are some series on some characters that maybe haven't had anything ongoing in a while. So we'll get more info next year, but that was kind of their big like, hey, DC Next Level. That's our plan.
It's exciting.
But speaking of Zatanna and speaking of Wonder Woman and speaking of Absolute, I tell these guys every month, hey, go read Absolute Wonder Woman because it is,
I
at
gotta
least
catch up. I gotta
my
catch up.
unbiased personal opinion, is the best Absolute book. Well, her and Martian Manhunter, I would say.
Which I recently just started.
Yeah. I know everyone loves Absolute Batman. Don't get me wrong. I read it. It's great. But to me, it's Batman. It is what it is. And I would say Absolute Wonder Woman is, because the whole idea of the Absolute line, we'll go into more detail when we have our Absolute, Ultimates video recap. The whole idea of the Absolute line is, hey, these characters that what if we kind of change something about their environment or something like that, but keep their core aspects and their personality? So, like, for example, Batman is broke, but he still wants to fight crime and, save people, stuff like that. Wonder Woman, I would say, at least from what I've read from the other series, she is the most similar to the mainline version of her. Like, in terms of just it is a big thing, but the only really change is that instead of growing up on the island, she was still born on the island and was there for a little bit, but then they moved her over to hell to be raised by Cersei. But everything else about her is like, that's still Wonder Woman, All that being said, so Absolute Wonder Woman 12 came out last month. Yeah, we're about the year mark. And at the very end of the book, because people were hoping, like, there was teases of Absolute Zatanna, like there was interviews here, clips there, and everyone assumed, okay, well, if she was going to show up in any book, it would be an Absolute Wonder Woman because of their history together. And at the very end of Absolute 12, it was and if you haven't read it yet, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but you should go read it. At the end of it, there's a Wonder Woman villain who kind of has like this like facility with different cells, like holding cells, and there's like little teases to different like, oh, this Wonder Woman villain, this Wonder Woman villain. Well, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. So she was kind of walking through this holding facility, and she's like having a conversation, and they're like, okay, we got to take care of Absolute Wonder Woman. Like, she's kind of, or Wonder Woman, she's, you know, too crazy. So she kind of gets to the end of the facility, and you see, and I'll put the picture on screen, you see like the tease. She's like, oh, I guess it's ready, you know, it's your time or something like that, Zatanna. It's Zatanna like wrapped up in a straitjacket, like tied to this wall, like hair looking crazy with a full like Hannibal Lecter mask. And I was like, oh shit, like,
because that girl Z ain't none to fuck with.
like
man.
Zatanna is already strong as it is, but whatever they changed about her for this Absolute version is gonna be insane.
Dangerous, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Absolute Zatanna is coming. It's implied that she's gonna have a fight with Wonder Woman, which I'm excited for because like this version of Wonder Woman is kind of more in tune with her magic and witch side. So like
okay.
that's gonna be a great fight, and I imagine eventually they'll kind of, you know, team up and be friends. But this is like one of the few times I'm actually
Enemies to
looking
lovers.
forward. Yeah, this is one of the few times I am looking forward to like, hey, this hero, this versus this hero, like fight. Normally I'm like, that's whatever, but this I'm like, okay, this is gonna be.
Yeah, that sounds
It's
really
gonna be
cool.
sick.
That
So-
sounds exciting. Yeah.
Go read Absolute Wonder Woman, please. It's so good. Again, Absolute Batman, great. It's cool. I get it. I see the hype.
It's heat.
Absolute Superman, it's a vibe. I haven't read Absolute Green Lantern yet. I gotta go read that.
Green Lantern's good, yeah.
Word?
And Absolute
Okay.
Flash, I've been hearing is good as well.
Yeah.
But I would say top two for me: Absolute Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman. They're just Martian Manhunter is a sick like detective, sci-fi, like, you know, open your mind kind of vibe, and then Absolute Wonder Woman being like this witch warrior, but still like very compassionate and still very much like trying to help people. It's so good. There was also, funny enough, like, because it had been announced that Absolute Wonder Woman and Batman were going to cross over, like they were going to be the first Absolutes to cross over. So we got like we got a couple of, you know, variant covers released for their crossover issue, and there's one where they're like standing face to face, and you know, Wonder Woman of course is taller than Batman, and people are like, wait, Batman's like 6'9" in this universe. Like, so that'll be a funny thing to see. But yeah, Absolute Zatanna's coming. Please go read it. Switching over to Marvel. Sadly, we don't have E here to kind of go through this, but I did want to include this, at least have some Marvel stuff. Marvel has a new like succession book coming out. It's called Sorcerer Supreme. It includes Gambit, Storm, Valeria, and Scarlet Witch. And at least from what I got from the synopsis, it's kind of like a who's going to be the next Sorcerer Supreme kind of thing.
That's sick. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that'll be coming out soon. And then to wrap up this kind of section, speaking of Wonder Woman, and speaking of the main line, and speaking of Tom King, so the ongoing Wonder Woman series, right? The main book. Right now, Wonder Woman has 2 books that are ongoing. She has the mainline book and Absolute. Compared to Batman, he has like 10, like
Yeah.
legitimately like 10. Superman has like 4 or 5. Wonder Woman has 2. And as great as the Absolute line has been, and as great as Tom King is as a writer for certain stories, it had just not been a great match for the mainline Wonder Woman book right now.
Damn.
Wonder Woman, the mainline book is getting the guest author for a couple issues. It's going to be Stephanie Williams. She is the one who kind of brought Nubia back to the modern time. And kind of, she had a good like Amazon story, and people like very much love what she does with the Amazons. So this happens every once in a while with comic books where there'll be like a 2 or 3 issue break with another writer and an artist, just for the main writer can kind of do something else for a little bit. But yeah, she's going to be a guest author or guest writer. And when that got announced, everybody was celebrating. Again, not that people have their issues with Tom King for multiple reasons, but admittedly, he also has some good stuff. Like obviously, Superman or Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is great. Mr. Miracle is great. But that's also not to say like people are like, this is in any art form. People are gonna have stuff sometimes where it's like, it's not that good, you know, which is it's fine. So yeah, people just aren't happy with him on this Wonder Woman book. I admittedly I read the first couple issues and I was just like, yeah, this is not something that I enjoy. And it doesn't mean that I dislike Tom King. It's just more so like I don't like this run.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna like, not really. And I've seen some stuff like that has come out of, and as you guys can tell, it's very important, like very passionate about Wonder Woman just because she's my favorite character. And she has 2 books, her mainline book and Absolute. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's things that have come out that he's done on this run that is just like, I'm glad that I stopped reading.
Yeah.
So people are hoping that eventually, eventually, of course, there's a new writer on everything, but, a new writer will come sooner rather than later. But the reason I wanted to bring it up, we kind of touched on it back in the movies and TV show. He is, involved with the Mr. Miracle stuff. And there was like an interview he did or something recently where he was talking about how he didn't realize how much like time consuming the Hollywood stuff was going to be. And so I think he might start kind of pull back on some of the writing that he's doing, because he's writing a few books as well. So it was like this announcement combined with him saying that, people are kind of like, hey, you know what, Tom King, you have some good stuff. This just isn't a good match for this character. Doesn't mean he's a bad writer. Doesn't mean anything like that. It's just like not a good match. So
Yeah.
those
okay.
gas issues, that's fine. Like it doesn't change anything crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, those gas issues are coming out January and February. So we kind of curious to see kind of where it goes after the fact from there.
Gotcha.
And my biggest hope is eventually DC. The reason why Batman and Superman have multiple lines right now, 1, because DC only pushes them, but 2, they also have 2 kind of ongoing books that have been around forever, which is Detective Comics, which is the company's name after. They have Detective Comics and Action Comics. So those are essentially like of Batman and Superman backup books where they can kind of just have more fleshed out either Bat family or Superman family stuff or other adventures. But Wonder Woman doesn't have that. She just has Wonder Woman and Absolute Wonder Woman. So I'm hoping eventually DC can be like, hey, let's give her like a Sensation Comics or something like that. Just kind of have more fleshed out.
Yeah.
I
really like that. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
So that's my big tangent about Wonder Woman. But is there anything like, I know we kind of went through those pretty quickly, but any of this stuff kind of we mentioned here that might be highlights for you guys? Again, like Absolute Satana, Catwoman, like I think these will be pretty cool, at least for me. And then the DC next level stuff.
I'm just excited to see some big swings, you know? Like, of course, Absolute Batman delivers, but I think it especially delivers because it is, I think, canonically, it presents one of the biggest swings as far as exploring what the new lore could be without spoiling much. Just seeing the origins of so many familiar characters it's, I don't know, it's like expository in a way that is exciting to see, even though I'm familiar with how these characters end up. It's like, man, seeing this adaptation wants me to see further adaptations. And I'm hoping that happens with Absolute Wonder Woman. I think the reveal of Zatanna is that that story's big swing.
Yeah. For sure.
Green Lantern, it's kind of out of the gate. Like first issue, you kind of see what the big swing is. The Absolute runs have been especially great in that regard. And I love that, there are just certain stories that are getting sifted, called certain writer, author IPs are either getting severed or axed. There's a clarity that I hope ends up being coupled with more experimentation, because then you get things, you get things like the Kryptonite Spectrum, where you can see like, okay, this is what happens when we take this unique creator and get them with a very familiar IP. I want more people to be put on notice of Zatanna because of the writers and and illustrators and colorists that we see work on, more familiar runs. Like imagine. Just
I mean, it's like
I feel like
Matt Fraction on Batman. Like it's yeah.
Quite literally. Like Hickman's the Marvel workhorse. Like put him on something that is gonna be fun, unique, and a 6 issue series. in the same way that we're getting with this Absolute Catwoman. Like that is gonna be huge when it comes out, and I think it's because of, like its finite nature. I feel like that presents exponential quality.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'm just super super curious.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I think we mentioned this before. We're kind of in a new golden age of comics where it's like, I think DC and Marvel, they have a lot of highlights that are happening right now. They're taking a lot of risk and chances, which is good because these characters have been around for, at least for DC, like 90 years, and Marvel like 50 or maybe 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's fine to kind of try new things. And that's why I think, to Q's point, the Absolute line is so great, is because you're changing a lot of these things around these characters, but you're not changing them. Which is, and I know, E is a big fan, but which is the issue I have with Injustice, is like, I get what they were doing with Injustice, or like an evil version of this, like that, but it's just like, like, these aren't these characters, like, it's just, but Absolute is like in my opinion, the better version of that. It's like, hey, Batman, he's not an evil Batman, he's still fighting crime, but he's more ruthless, he's kind of like, he's insane, like it's cool. And in Wonder Woman, it's like, she is a warrior. She's like a witch, but she's still very kind and very compassionate and everything like that. And it's just like the Absolute line, I feel like, is the best thing DC's done in a very long time, honestly.
Yeah.
And the Ultimates, from what I've seen from the Ultimate line, like Q, I know you were reading Ultimate Wolverine. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, I think the Ultimate line has done a lot of good things for Marvel as well. It's sad that they're kind of ending it like pretty quickly, because DC has come out and said like, oh, Absolute's gonna run like for a while, so
good, love it.
But on that point, we can jump into it. What we have been reading, Q, if you want to start, some of the stuff you've been reading recently, or things you're hoping to read as we kind of go into this holiday season.
Yeah, The Long Halloween is like the next thing on my list.
Hell yeah, brother!
Nice.
I might.
Hell yeah.
I might hit this button and crack that book open.
It's a perfect time.
I was really hoping. I brought it with me to San Diego, and I was excited to crack it open, but the trip ended up being so busy. But I'm especially excited to get into that. Very, very separate IP, but Void Rivals and the new Transformers run is
nice.
Something that has been, it's been in the corner of my room staring at me. I actually brought that on the trip too, because I don't know, thought I would have way more idle time. But that's I think it's a deviation from the big two that I'm excited to check out. And most recently that I finished, oh man, it was so good. After watching Alien Earth, I read Aliens versus Avengers. And
how was that?
Man, I mean, it's good. Anytime that I get to see my goat, Esad Ribic, cook up on these panels, man, it is an absolute feast. And I think, a story like that's so self-contained, and it's not necessarily niche, but it's just targeted to a specific corner of the audience. You just can't help but wonder, like, okay, but why did they put some of their heaviest hitters on this, like, this limited series? I don't know how many issues. I think it was either 6 or 8. It wasn't many. Why put them on this in the same way where it's like the last? I think at that point, it was either around or after they had worked on the most recent Secret Wars. So to go from like a flagship moment for the IP to just a fun little side quest. I was so curious, and my curiosity, my thirst was quenched quite a bit. So definitely worth checking out. I opened it up and thought I'll stretch this out over a few days, and it was an open and shut. I started and finished in the same evening. Super palatable and a really fun read for sure.
Say
Hell yeah,
less. I'm
dude.
about to read
Let me know
that.
when you read Long Halloween, because that's my favorite
Man,
Batman story. And
can't
it's
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm gonna read it this week.
Cool.
Jelani, I know you said you were catching up on some stuff, or any series that you're looking forward to catching up on.
Yeah, I've been catching up on Absolute Batman, which has been really, really cool.
His big ass.
Yeah, just big burly. You know what I mean? And that's been really interesting because you know what, I kind of started out. Shout out to Comic Historian. Like I started watching it on my streams just to kind of like pass the time in between me playing games, and then I wound up like really enjoying like the small tweaks to the character and just how insane it is. I think like currently his relationship with Alfred is like really, really cool. I like the concept of him like being broke but still wanting to help people. I think that was really dope. And just certain action sequences I was just eating up. So I was like, this is fire. Like I was like, I get it now. Like I'm tight that it took me so long to finally like read it, because I think when the first issues came out, I know all four of us cop physical copies. So I have it because I was just enamored by the artwork for Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Batman, as well as Absolute Martian Manhunter. You know what I mean? So I was just like, all right, cool. Off the art alone, I'm down. But now I get a chance to actually like really dive into it and like read it. So I've been enjoying that so far. I'm about 5 issues in, I want to say, and it's been really good. And then I started, honestly, this morning I started Absolute Martian Manhunter, like because I wanted to like get into something, so I have something to talk about for the video. Yeah, issue 1 was really, really dope, and I'm loving it. I love the whole concept of like, you know, the Martian and John Jones being separate. You know what I mean? And just like what that dynamic is like, and it's just so trippy. The artwork is so trippy.
Yeah,
it's like right up my alley when it comes to this crazy ass artwork and story. And I'm a big fan of like true like detective stories. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So that's like the main stuff I've been like kind of consuming and reading and watching.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Like the like, you know, watching like the YouTube videos for like I want to say recap, which kind of just like a quick run through. Because I think those are good of like to see if you're interested in the book. But obviously, like nothing is compared to like actually reading it, kind of going through the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like they can kind of explain it to you, but like reading it panel by panel and going through the page is like a different kind of thing. And then also like you mentioned, Absolute Martian Manhunter like 1, like there was the big thing at the end of it where it's like, this is only if you had the physical version. But it's like if you have the physical version, if you hold it up to the light, like at the end page, it's like his face, but then it shows the Martian's face. Like that was like a cool thing they did for that. But Absolute Martian Manhunter, like especially as you go through, because they did the first 6 issues, they went on a break. It is coming back. Like it wasn't ongoing like the other ones, but those first 6, like it's very much like it's a very I don't know what the right word is for it, but like very open, like high concept kind of vibe, you know, like detective, but there's like this alien. It's just like it's so good. I'm glad that you're catching up on that.
Yeah. No, I'm loving it so far.
I'd say for me, same thing, like reading the Absolute books. Again, Absolute Wonder Woman, of course, we talked about already. Absolute Batman, I have caught up on. Not want to say mainly. I mean, I was interested in it, but I was like, okay, well, if he is crossing with Wonder Woman, I do need to read his stuff, you know? So read his stuff. Absolute Martian Manhunter, like I mentioned already. Also from the mainline books, The New Gods. Like, I can't say this enough. If you read it, it's by Ram V. He's the one where when he writes stuff, people say his stuff is, it's good to read it like binging, as opposed to one issue at a time.
Gotcha.
So sometimes people will wait until like the trade comes out or the full hardcover will come out where it has the first 12 issues or whatever, because it's like they want to get the full thing. And
the trade just came out for it too.
Yeah, so I think issue 13, 12 or 13 just came out. And now that I'm at that point, because I have been reading it every month, now I'm kind of looking back. I'm like, you know what? This probably, like, it was already good. But if I read this kind of all together, this would probably go crazy. Insane. Just because there's so many cool, like, moments, but also things that were introduced. And, like, his writing is very much, like, I'm not going to say high level, but more so like like kind of like Absolute Martian Manhunter, where it's kind of like higher concept, if that makes sense.
A good perspective, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the New Gods themselves are already kind of in that like kind of field. So like it's so good. The art is great. It was funny because there was like 1 or 2 issues ago, there was like a guest artist, and I was like, I don't really like this art. It's kind of whatever. Mainly because the main artist I think is a perfect fit for the New Gods and their designs, their concepts, everything like that. It's so good. So reading that, of course, the Batgirl book is with Cassandra Cain is still ongoing. Reading that as well. That one's still fun. And then I'm also reading what's over there, but kind of because I always like I'll read the ongoings, but I also kind of I'll usually have like an older series or book that I'm reading. So I'm finishing Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters right now, which is his run from the 90s, which was kind of like a more grounded Green Arrow kind of thing, which was funny because all that stuff happened in the Absolute book, and then his book got canceled, and then but that's what I'm reading, and I'm hoping that we get that Zatanna series that they tease, so I can kind of get back my Zatanna fix. But I'm gonna get it in the Absolute book, so
Yeah.
that's what I've been checking out. And that's about it for the books section. And we wrap it up with one of our favorites. 1, because we like playing video games here, but 2, just because of the disparity between these 2 companies. So our last section is video games. We're still playing Rivals. We're still messing around here and there. Granted, Jelani is a Warzone streamer now, so make sure you go check out his Twitch channel. Actually, you know what? One point before I get into these ones, I want to add in here, Jelani. I know you actually tried out I think it's called Dispatch, or
Yes.
the superhero like.
Yeah. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. What were your thoughts? What do you feel about it? What was
Okay,
the vibe?
so shout out to Ad Hoc Studios for gifting me a copy of Dispatch. So if you're not familiar, Dispatch is a episodic, interactive story-based game. The main character is Robert Robertson. He is a former hero called Mecha Man. He adopted his robotic powered suit from his dad, he got from his grandfather. You know what I mean? But he gets into a fight with the man that killed his dad and loses his suit. And then he gets approached by another hero and was like, hey, we understand you're going through something right now, but we think you'd be a really good fit for this dispatch agency, and where we kind of rehabilitate former villains and have them, deploy to different problems. So like the actual gameplay aspect of it is you are commanding a team of supervillains and trying to earn their respect, and different problems pop up over the city, and you got to send the right person to handle that right job. And based like on how well you do, you get certain like, points that you can add to the characters, and just different story beats unlocked and everything like that. It is truly, truly a phenomenal game. Like at the time of this recording, episode 1 and 2 is out, and then
That's what I was just gonna ask. Yeah.
Yeah, and it releases weekly, which I think I really enjoy, because it really does feel like you're playing a TV show. I think a lot of people will really enjoy like the artwork. It will kind of remind you of like, the Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse movies. The voice acting is really good. The scoring is phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people should give this game a chance, and just play it. I've been on a real interactive storytelling gaming like run recently. Like I went from Heavy Rain to Detroit Become Human. I just finished The Quarry the other day for October. You know what I mean?
Those are great for stream, because it's like obviously there's gameplay, but like you don't need to like be locked in. Like I gotta focus 100%. Like it's
exactly. And then like I love it because like not everybody's run is going to be the same run. Based on your decisions, different parts of the story unlock. But yeah, definitely check out Dispatch. Like if you're into superhero stuff like we are, but also workplace dramedies like The Office or like Scrubs or anything like that. Like I feel like it's a good blend of all of that, and it's also like 18 plus is mature, so you get all the vulgar jokes and everything. Like the energy of it is like really, really dope. Aaron Paul plays the main character, so if you're familiar with him from Breaking Bad and other stuff like that, like he kills it. So really star-studded cast. Jeffrey Wright is in it as well. Like
I'm looking at it right now. Aaron Paul, Jeffrey Wright, Laura Bailey. There's a lot of people with this game. That's crazy.
Heavy hitters, man. Heavy hitters. So you know, there's definitely going to be a little bit of something for everybody. Even if you're not into like superhero stuff, I think a lot of people will enjoy everything because it's just good. It's just good. I'm enjoying it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad I remember to bring it up because I remember like you were streaming it and then I was like in the middle of traveling. I was like, oh, I do want to check that game out because I remember they announced it a couple years ago at the Game Awards or something like that, and I was like, oh, that's a cool concept of like you're like in the superhero world, but you're working at the dispatch center for like to help them. Like that it was, and then of course the storytelling aspect. And then,
I love that idea of like what do normal people do while
Yeah.
superheroes do stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think it's a cool spin on the story because this person essentially is kind of like Iron Man. He's not a super powered being, but he has a super powered suit and weapon. But like, what happens when you lose that suit, but you still have that drive to help people? You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And it, you know, it reminded me of, you know, RP, the show Powerless that had Vanessa Hudgens in it.
Yeah, that was actually a very underrated show, honestly.
I enjoyed it. I'm so
Yeah.
upset that it only lasted a season, and I had you know, Stan Lee's one of his last appearances on television.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's also why I was like, oh, we're getting kind of our own version of Powerless. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Shout out to Dispatch. That's a really good game.
Yeah, like you said, like the workplace, like I think the worst workplace comedy works in kind of any, whatever workplace you make it, whatever industry it is. Obviously, The Office and Parks and Rec and stuff like that. But like even with superheroes, like you still have those funny, relatable dynamics, which makes it good. And I looked it up. Yeah, you said Ad Hoc Studio, and I didn't know this. Ad Hoc is actually a team made up of people who used to work at Telltale, which makes sense. Like Telltale, obviously, they did The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, everything like that. So yeah, it makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
Like it's. But yeah, like Johnny said, that comes out weekly. Looks like the first 2 episodes, they dropped on October 22nd. We are recording this on October 25th, so the next ones will be out on the 29th. Looks like they're dropping 2 episodes a week.
Yep.
How long does it usually take to go through how long will it take you to go through those first 2?
I think it took me around like, I think each episode is like 40-ish minutes. You know
That's
what I
not
mean?
bad. Yeah, you could just
like
jump in
full-on-
and do that.
Exactly. I think like my full on runtime, like, you know, we're yapping included.
Big
'Cause you know
yapping.
me. You know what I mean? Like I think it was about 2-ish hours, you know?
Yeah.
So you get a good amount of content, and I think you're always kind of satisfied but also like wanting more at the end of the episode. Like I feel like there's just once each episode ends, you're just like, I gotta see how this goes. I gotta see how this
no,
goes.
they're 100% recreating when the Telltale games were first coming out. I remember because I didn't play them, but I remember like watching people play them. Remember when the Walking Dead games were coming out, or the Telltale games? It was like I think it was monthly, so it was like a big.
That's what
like,
our homie Blue
everyone
Satire was
like-
saying.
Yeah, it was like people were like, oh, everyone was talking about it. It's like a TV show, you know, like every week, like talk about what the new thing that happened.
That's
So it looks like it's
cool.
going to be 8 episodes, 2 a week, and the last ones will come out on November 12th. So make sure if you are interested, check it out, or you can check out Jelani's gameplay as each.
Oh, I'm absolutely playing it
on
every single week.
I would say on
Yeah.
the release day when it comes out, because it looks like on Wednesdays, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Big shouts out to Ad Hoc Studio for providing Jelani with the game. In other game news, from Marvel, we had a big, I want to say announcement because we knew the game was coming, but we had a big reveal. Marvel's Wolverine got its first trailer since the announcement, but also first gameplay look in that trailer. It's going to be releasing next year on PS5. They had a kind of a deep dive with some of the devs and everything like that, and it looks, it's a Wolverine game. It looks sick, you know. So I
It
think,
looks so good, dude. I was yelling at my monitor when the trailer was happening.
I'm gonna need to turn the blood off.
It is
very
a
bloody.
lot. It is a lot. It's a very gory game.
I imagine though. I don't know if they talked about it. I imagine they'll have some kind of setting for gore.
They should.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, because I think for the longest time, especially with that game, like they announced it, and it's so funny because I feel like before, because they showed that during the State of Play, right? The most recent State
Yeah,
of
it
Play.
was like one state of play. They showed it when they also showed Spider-Man 2, like at that time.
Exactly.
So it
So,
was,
like
like,
I
way
remember when
back.
they announced it, and then it was just like gone. And I remember, I want to say maybe like a couple weeks before the State of Play, someone tweeted like, "Yo, what's up with this? Like, I would really love to see an update on this game." Like they announced this and never said anything, and then a couple weeks later, that trailer drops, and everybody was like losing their mind, myself included. So it looks good. Like you said, it is very gory. So if a lot of blood and guts make you uncomfortable, please be warned. Or if they have a setting, like turn that off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But It looks fire, bro. I was
Yeah.
rocking with it.
And
I was
it
rocking
looks
with
different enough from like Spider-Man gameplay as well. It's like, oh, this is like it's
Right.
not just the regular Insomniac combat system. Like, 'cause there's some differences. We also got some teases of the characters. Like Mystique was in there. Was Omega Red in there? Or am I tripping?
I believe so. Towards the
I think
end,
he was.
Yeah, towards the end of the trailer.
Yeah, it was in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think obviously it's Insomniac. It's Wolverine. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great.
Expect a 24-hour stream.
I was gonna say Jelani and Q are both gonna do 48-hour streams
Oh,
to race to
absolutely.
beat it together.
When Spider-Man 2
do that
came
for,
out, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, I want to do that for Cosmic Invasion. That
Oh,
comes out on
yeah.
December 1st. Yeah.
That looks good. That looks
I was
really
just
good.
gonna say it
for the
comes out
2D
December.
fans.
We should.
Yeah, December 1st.
We can multiplayer that, right? I'm not
It's
tripping.
multiplayer. It is. Yeah.
Say less. Okay.
Be on the lookout
I
for
got
the
dibs-
next
I got
CCS
dibs on
stream.
Beta Ray.
Marvel Invasion.
Bring back our
Paul-
Gotham Knights era.
For real.
Or Cosmic Invasion. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Cosmic Invasion, yeah. So yeah, Wolverine's coming out next fall. I imagine probably be October, November, something like that. That's when Spider-Man came out. PS5 only. Make sure you get yourselves upgraded. Speaking of PS5 only, I didn't put this in here, but I just remembered. Marvel Rivals also just had its PvE Marvel Zombies mode come out. Originally, I wasn't too interested because I'm like, zombies, like zombie mode in general in games, I never really been interested in. But I actually like was watching someone play. I was like, oh, this is not like just a zombie mode. This is different. Like there's skill trees, there's traits. Like it's very in depth. Like it's not just I'm killing zombies.
Difficulty tiers.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, because if you guys remember, Rivals did just come out on PS4 like a couple months ago. And they specifically said this mode is not going to be on PS4. I was watching someone play it. I was like, this would explode a PS4. Thank God they didn't tone this mode down to put it on PS4. Like it looks
Okay.
insane.
Is it gonna
But
is it
look,
gonna stick around after October? Like, is this like a
so
new
it's gonna
permanent
be here till November 14th, I think.
mode? Okay. All right.
Something
we got
like
some
that.
time.
So yeah, I definitely want to check that out because it's not just a generic zombies mode. Like it's pretty in depth and like the perks upgrade.
insane.
Like it's and some of the boss fights. Like it looks sick. So
Okay.
I do want to try that out. But if you have a PS4, it's gonna explode. So
Ripski.
so that's Ad Hoc Studios on Dispatch. Marvel got Wolverine and Rivals. Our last point here for games is DC. So thank you guys for watching and thank you for supporting. It'll probably be a while till we get anything DC.
Damn. But I thought when they announced the games and the comics and the TV shows and it's all gonna connect. What happened? I thought the end of Gotham Knights.
When
I thought Suicide Squad was supposed to.
there was a couple of things that happened in a short amount of time that, not that I had high trust in the video games on DC. Granted, they were already a bunch of, we talked about it, like corporate merger mess, everything like that. But when we went from Gotham Knights came out, and I liked Gotham Knights, but I also saw
enjoyed
that
Gotham Knights, yeah.
it wasn't what it should have been, if that makes sense. It could have been a lot better. The characters, there were a lot of issues I had with the characters, but the game itself was fun.
I enjoyed playing with
Gotham
you
Knights,
guys.
yeah, that was still fun doing that, like playing with the homies.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights came out, and I was like, okay, I had fun, but it wasn't like a big hit. And then Suicide Squad came out, and we had fun playing together. That was a good
Yes.
time playing
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
But it was also like, granted, that Batman mission we did at the beginning of the game, where you're walking around and Batman is chasing you like you did in the Arkham games, that was cool as fuck.
Exactly.
And then the rest of the game kind of just happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that was fun with the friends, but I think I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And then Wonder Woman game gets canceled. So it was like those three things, and kind of happening
In quick
within a
succession.
pretty close together. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know if we're gonna get anything
Yeah.
for a long time for DC.
James
Yeah.
Gunn, I'm in your attic. I'm in your attic.
I will say though, that new Lego Batman looks
So
fuego.
I was just gonna mention, I was like, we do have Lego Batman. It looks insane. It looks cool. Like
it look really
it
like
actually
no
looks very
joke, guys.
fun,
It
like-
looks really, really dope.
so I'm probably gonna play that. Or I
Yeah.
am gonna play that. But then again, it's
for
like,
sure.
and not to hate on the Lego games. I love the Lego games, but it's like, it's Lego games and it's Batman. It's
Yeah.
like, how many times are we gonna do
Yeah,
all this?
for sure.
So yeah, DC games, we got Lego Batman next year, and it looks fun as fuck. It looks hella cool. That will come and that will go, and then we don't really have anything else.
Rip.
Man,
Boot that Arkham trilogy again.
right?
Yeah.
Run it back for old time's sake. You know what I mean?
Give us a DC. What's the opposite? What's like similar to Rivals? DC Contenders. Give us DC Ops. Give us that game.
DC Ops is crazy, but I would play it. Absolutely, I would play it.
DC
Yeah, give us
Ops.
DCKO.
Yeah,
DCK.
DCKO.
Mm-hmm.
We'll actually, you know what? We'll have the DC fighting games. I'm sure NetherRealm will make Injustice 3, and people will love it. And I'll, check it out, and that'll kind of come.
You will absolutely eat it up.
I will watch a second or two of it.
Yeah, it looks the Justice
And then
2
boot
looks
Lego
really
Batman
great.
back up.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm actually
Yeah.
looking forward to Lego Batman.
Yeah,
Don't get me
same.
wrong. I'm
Yeah.
excited
Yeah.
for it. But again, it's another Batman game. It's another Lego game for Batman.
And that's the only thing we know that is coming out. You know?
I think, and not to, I'm not going to be one to question James Gunn's knowledge. I don't think he understood how much development and time and resources go into making a video game.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I like some of the James Gunn movies. What the fuck does he know about video games?
exactly. Which goes into our point earlier. Whoever buys Warner Brothers, they could have a big. That's hilarious, by the way. Shut up, Kanye. They could have a huge impact on the video games. They could come in because they already shut down the studio that was making the Wonder Woman game. They shut down a couple other Warner Brothers game studios. They could come in and shut down a bunch of other stuff, and it's like, so.
Yeah.
We'll see. Life as a DC fan, you know. And
Tim
it's-
Cook, save us.
Tim Apple.
True. Tim Apple, we
Yeah,
trust.
Tim Apple, save us.
But that
And then make the bat phone in real life. You know what I mean?
$6,000.
Yeah.
Hold on, Alfred. Is that you?
Hello?
Get the Capri Suns.
Commish? You called?
What the fuck does James Gunn know about making videos?
That is so funny, bro.
Well, that's
Oh,
gonna be
man.
it for our episode this month. Big shout out again, Jelani and Q for joining us. Make sure you guys send your love to E. He is lost in the Sahara Desert somewhere. I don't know, but he'll be
Yeah.
back next time.
Come back to us, E.
He'll probably join us for our next video. We mentioned we are gonna do a kind of recap of the Ultimate books for Marvel and the Absolute books for DC, potentially
I got
with a
some
special
ring review.
guests. Potentially, if you guys remember our favorite movie reviewer of Black Adam,
Oh, man.
his special
I
appearance.
cannot wait, bro.
Shout out to my guy.
We might be having a guest star for that review. So make sure you guys go check that out. Thank you guys for supporting it. And always, thank you for the love. Again, make sure if you guys want to see some more Dispatch, make sure you check out Jelani's Twitch, twitch.tv/Jelani
Every
Hendricks.
week.
And if you also just want a good vibe with some nice boldness, I don't really stream anymore, but make sure you go check out twitch.tv/QmanBean. He's always there hanging. And you streaming today, Q, or no?
Nah, not today.
Was it a
Or
stream?
am I?
Gotta tune in.
Click on the
Gotta
link.
give-
Click on the
gotta give
link
a
below
follow
to find out if he is
out.
live right now.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time for Ultimates/Absolute Review. What does James know about video games? Okay, bye.